There be light and there was light, words of the said God, Mother Eve. Okay, so I'm really wanting to do this magical word, but however, I feel that it is necessary that we associate ourselves with the gods and getting to see the dynamic of their nature and their operation through us in everyday life, in our everyday speaking. Now, as you may have seen before on this channel, Crime a Queen, that we are dealing with the 14 gods of Genesis. Of course, the created God, the moved God, said God, saw God, divided God, called God, made God, set God, blessed God, ended God, caused God, formed God, breathed God, and the planted God. We have had a new instruction of how we are meant to dialogue and engage with these gods. Meaning, for instance, now we are asked to seek or to be open to the called God. The called God here, in fact, has a numerical value, which is the called God. We can see that the called God and the said God have swapped in numerical value or position. So I have done presentations on why the God have switched positions or changed positions. And we see that here, the called God, which was number 6 in the entry of the gods, instead of it being number 6, now it is meant to be number 1. That's what Mother Eve is saying. But what we are doing here now, which I'm now in flow of doing, we getting to understand the dynamics of the gods and seeing how we can have their resonance or acknowledge their resonance or their function within us, and how we ourselves can really instruct, we could say instruct the gods of, what we would like them to do or operate through us. So for instance, you don't call on the planted God if you just want to breathe. Okay, we would call on the breathed God. But having said that, the planted God and the breathed God have the same numerical values. So yes, because a plant would have to breathe, if you like, or there is a degree of breath that happens with it. Okay, because breath, I use the one of these examples because breath is life. So perhaps I could have said, or the soul God, which still would have a relational attribute to the planted God, because you can saw a branch of a tree away, of prune the tree. So there is some relationship, but it's really letting us know the functions of each God and really identifying our makeup or how they are made up in our operations. So I have done the S gods. When I say the S gods, it's the first letter. And I love to say letter because it's as if Mother Eve just came alive, because Mother Eve is the one who wrote or had the letters of contracts to the gods. So all these that the gods are doing, they are doing for us. The gods are there to assist us. The gods are assisting us, operating through us. The word us is very, very profound, which equals 31. And that is, everything is about us. Now, isn't that delicious? So everything is about us. And that's why Mother Eve said, let us make man in our image. The word image, of course, like one would say likeness or vision or sameness, after our likeness. This was what Mother Eve was saying. So these are things as well I would like to really touch on, increasing depth, because I have done this on several of my early presentations as well. So of course, hopefully in time I could put them all together so we can see how they really marry. Yes. Okay. So now we have done the S's, 3 S three S's, like I say, Think and Grow Rich. That's where the reference of the S's came through. Now, this was intuitively done. And there I am now with three C's, trying to work out what these three C's should be. Let Mother Eve do her thing now. Let the said God work through me, through us. If you have anything, of course, convey that to me and see. And I could hear you saying, yeah, that's just what I was thinking of. Okay, so the three C's, let's do the three C's of the gods, which would be the created God, the called God, and the caused God. Let's do that. And of course, if you're new to this channel, I have to introduce you to Mother Eve. Mother Eve is of course, the said God. We have been talking about the grand orchestrator of all this language that we have. Because when it is said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with us. This is Mother Eve. She's the one with the letters. Okay, so now let us see the three C's. What shall we call the three C's? So, of course, we have the created God, which is 2. So I am not working out these numerical values anymore. We've done this quite a lot. And if you're new to numerology, it just means every letter has a numerical value. And so we add all these values together till we get a single digit. And that's how it goes. So basically created is 11, but we add 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have created, and then we have called, the three C's. It's nice to hear the three C's. The three C's. Okay. The called God equals 1, and the caused God, C-A-U-S-E-D, the caused God equals 7. But I'm going to have to go over this to ensure I've got the right numerical value. So this is 3, 1, C-A-U, 3, 1, 5, 4. Adding this together, this is 10, 17. Oh, 17. So C-A-U-S-E-D. So the cause God is, oh, why have I got 8? Let's see. This is 4, 5, 1, 3, 1, 3. That's interesting. Okay, so this is 5, 4, 9, 10, 13, 16, 17. It is correct. 17 is 8. Okay. 17 is 8. Okay. So that's the here. Of course, what we do, we add this together, and we have 8 plus 1 and plus 2. That gives us 11. Of course, 11 would be 2. In a single digit, but that's where we have our first, we could say, there's the Trinity here, we could say that, and of course our first master number, 11. The number 11, which is another E-L-E-V-E-N, let's do this, is 5, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 10, 20, 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. It's just to show you how the 9, 11 comes into play right here. So with these three gods right here, and what I have noticed as well, that the number 3 is so powerful. This is why it is called the magical number. And it is so powerful because if we also write the numerical value for the word 3, that gives us 11. 11, as we have seen, has 9. So we can see how 9, 11 plays out here perfectly. This is a 9, 11 cast right here in the work of art. Of course, the work of art is all here in the word created. It's got read, art, eat, tea, crate, rat, rate. There are all these words. The word created is really very intense. Now we are called to really hinge on the called God here, which I have not been able to find a lot of words from the called God. But what I do understand is that every time, because I have been reading the scriptures again, every time there was a new error or a new thing happening, a new, so for instance, and Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all living, or Adam called his wife's name Eve. So the word called is very present. It's as if we need to acknowledge something is to call it, or we have to call it to acknowledge it, vice versa, whichever one you choose. But calling is really very much an active thing that is we are meant to do. So this is the called God operating through us and saying, you know, call my name. I don't know if it happens to you, but this is what I do when I misplace something or can't find an object in my home. I just call out its name and there it is. I have learned that over the years, and so I do that. Of course, there are two things I do. It's like I start tidying up whatever that seem like it's out of place, and I call the name of that thing, that which I am looking for, and it presents itself. I'm glad I remember that now, because I've got a list of things to call. A list of, well, the called God is here. So there we are. And of course, this is the cause God. The cause God has the numerical value just as the set God. Now there is another thing. I hope you will have a look at the XXX that I have done of the gods. And the last of the three that I did had the same numerical value of 8. Now there's another thing that is important for us to understand with the set God, because the set God is really, or the cause God in this stage, which is 8, but I say the set because set also equals 8, and 8 EI. Okay, let's get rid of this one. That's better. EIGHT, of course, equals 31, which is what I have been talking about. This is where the called God is asking us, or Mother Eve is beckoning us to be. So 5, 9, 7, 8, 2. This is 10, 17, 17, 26, 31. 31. Of course, 3 plus 4 is 3 plus 1 is 4. My brain is ahead of me. Okay, so 3 plus 4, 3 plus 1 equals 4. And this is that whole where we are meant to come to if our north, our south, our east, and our west. This is where we are meant to come to with 31, not 32 now. 32 is where we are in the middle of the template here. We'll be doing 5 when we are 32. We are now being called to do our orientation. It's that we are in the 5th dimension, of course. The 5th dimension, there's a block happening here. The 5th dimension or the 8th dimension, which we are doing here. But we are asked to do this north, south, east, and west. This is where the image of Christ on the cross, where Christ is giving of his life, or giving up the life, is like saying it is done. This is where Christ said it is done, of course, and the arms and the 2 legs were nailed, and of course he is here. So this is submission. This is where we are called to submit. And I really don't feel that it is in the way that we have been taught in that story. But the story is so enriching with its own flavors to help reach any one of us in essence. I really believe for what I've been doing here and even before, it's that the submission that we are called to do is to submit to let go of the things that no longer serve us to get it into a higher vibrational frequency, into another realm, into this that we are called to be, to renew our minds, like Paul would say in the scriptures. Renew our minds. This is where Paul was saying, I die daily, meaning Paul knew it was necessary to regenerate or there's the word, remember, replenish, release, rejoice, renew. This is what it says. We need to renew our minds so we can enter into the gates of the daughter of Zion. He didn't say that. I added this bit. Or enter into the pearly gates. This is where we are talking about the fifth dimension, which is the Kundalini. Now, why do I call it the fifth dimension? Numerically speaking, the Kundalini, or the word pineal gland together, of course, pineal and gland also comes to 5. So, was it Jacob who wrestled with the angel, or found God? And it says, have found God, and he named the place Peniel. So we see from the XXX, which is 3, has the value of 3. In fact, these S's here have the value of 9. Wasn't I talking about 9/11 as well? So this is 9. I'm just doing this, and 9/11. These were 11 here. So we are talking about an explosion. These gods can help us explode whatever it is that we are wanting to do. So before I go about this explosion, let's do Kundalini so you can get Kundalini. So here we are, 2, 3, 5, 4, 1, 3, 9, 5, 9. I like the 5 and the 9 so much. They really move me. Okay, because that's beginning and end. It's a cycle. So there we are. This is 14. This is 23, 26, 26 plus 4, 30, 36, and 36, 39, 41. 4 plus 1 equals 5. There we are. That's the Kundalini. That's what Mother Eve is talking about, getting us to come to this place. Now, of course, we see that again with the word 8 here at the bottom. We are hinging on to where Mother Eve has called us to say, let us create man in our image after our likeness. And this us, as I say, as we have seen 31, I counted 31, I just did, but this is 41 for Kundalini, but there was 31. But this is where we are called to be the 8-petal flower. There are 8 petal flowers. Of course, why 8 as well? I'm going to show you, because this is where EIGHT, which I've just done on the previous presentation on this subject, on this line. So this is 5, 9, 7, 8, 2. Add these together, 10, 19, 26. 26 plus 5 is 31. And that's where we are called to do. Of course, when we go through the gods and creation, the number 13 comes. The number 13 is the incubator. It is, and no wonder we have 31 number of days throughout the months of the year as well. 30 days have September, April, June, and November, and so this is four months with 30, and I think there's only one with February with 28. So there would be eight. There would be eight or seven. That's it. 7 months of the year with 31. So this is coinciding with Mother Eve's Latins. This is coinciding perfectly with Mother Eve's Latins, that there are 7 months of the year. I'm hoping I've checked this correct. I'm doing this mentally. And that the 8th, which is of 28 days or so, February would be 28 or 27, depending whether it was a leap year or not. And so we have, and which is of course not usually, this would be 29. 27 of course would be 2 plus 7 would be 9, so that would give us a 9 value. So basically the 7 months of the year coincide with the 7,000 year cycle that we have just ended, if you like. I'm just going by the number 7. It also coincides with the 7-year cycle that we are now in, which began when Uranus entered the 2nd zodiac sign, which is Taurus, my house. Entered my house. Isn't that lovely? So we can see that also coincides with what we are talking about. So there is that 8th setting, because that's what Uranus is really wanting to do in the house of Taurus, to set the earth, to create, to move, to get us calling, to get us creating, to get us in that in a causal state, that we will have to get things, to set things straight, basically. So there we are with the 8-petal flower. This is what we are meant to do. Okay. Yes, so 3, of course, 3 threes here would be 9. And 9, of course, would be again beginning. 9 is beginning. The word beginning equals 9. So we have this 3 here, which coincide with 3 blocks. So we have 3 blocks of 369, 369 here. So this here would be 6, and here we have 1, 2, 3, which is another 6, and 1, 2, 3 is another 6. Now, why do we have 6 here? When we count these blocks together, each gives us 6. So here is 6, here is 18. No, this would be 11 plus 4 is 15. There would be 15, and this would be 24. So that gives us 6. Now 6 also coincides with 9, because when we do the numerical value for the word 9 gives us 6. So why we are doing this, N-I-N-A, you may wonder why are we being so meticulous or particular about the first letter, or what's all this about? But what I believe is happening here, that each letter, and not believe, it is so, each letter is a symbol of great significance, and the closer we get to the significance of this symbol, then we can have more meaning, or extract a deeper meaning to the words we use, and when we use them, we can elicit a higher vibration to bring into manifestation that which we desire, or that which we want to, and so on. So C, for instance, and I'm there, the three C's, you know, are we talking about three oceans or the three C's? Of course, I see the eye leads like a C as well when opened, or whatever it is that you want to, or part of the air hair forming like a C, and even with the sound of the spirit of sound mind. What does it mean to see? What could, are we talking about, whether we were talking about SEA or whether we were talking about CEE? What the vastness of the meaning that we can attract from these. Again, if we had two C's here or three C's, we could see these are C's joined. They are joined. All these are C's in their own fashion. So when we are talking about C, all these things have meaning. The L's, all the letters. So, but basically, when we are able to concentrate on the three C's, like some people would say, oh, well, they use this as acronyms in three C's, or you could say, oh, compound, compose, and compress, whatever you want to use those C's for, and you know you were harnessing on the gods, on these three gods, because you have actually called on their main attribute, which is the C. Okay, thank you. Now, isn't that delicious? Remember, we are here, of course, to call upon the gods to create a new man in God's image and likeness. For what cause? To set a new earth, a new way, a new life, a new dimension. That's the cause. That's the cause here. So let us continue this lovely exploration and see how the cause, I'm trying to use, how the called God and the created God and the cause God is moving through us. Yes, thank you, very gladly. Okay.